This is a good feeling to have a working Xbox. If you guys didn't know, I've been learning how to modify Xbox, and it has been a crazy ordeal. I'm always into video games and consoles and whatnot. This is the original Xbox. This is a 1.0 board I had bought, and I was practicing soldering on it. And as you see, I burnt a bunch of the joints trying to do a TSOP. I've been just so unlucky. I bought this Xbox. The hard drive was bad, and the disk drive was bad. So I was kind of SOL. And then so I was like, okay, this guy said it worked, and I was like, I'll buy another one, worst case scenario. And then I bought another one, and the disk drive doesn't read disk, and this is, as you know, not the stock hard drive. The hard drive didn't work as well. So I'm like, man, what am I supposed to do? So this is a 1.0, and this is actually a 1.2. I actually really like the 1.2 just because it makes it easy to pull off the EEPROM. So what I did is I bought a Pi Pico. A Pico Pi here. It's next to my Rocky. You see it right there. And basically what you do is you hook up 3 wires into the pad. I'm going to go ahead and make a good link for you guys. I'm just kind of give you a quick overview of what I did, and then I'll link how to do it. So you basically hook it to the motherboard. You grab off the EEPROM. Then you go online, and if you have a new hard drive, I didn't have any of the old hard drive stuff. So I had to go on this hard drive, and I had to download a C drive and an E drive. And then once I did that, I was able to put it in this. And I wasn't able to load Rocky 5 or any soft mods off a DVD because my DVD drive didn't work. So what I did instead is I bought one of these Xbox USB adapters with a Rocky 5 injectable. And as soon as I did that, it booted up, and I was so ecstatic because I was almost going to be over 3, I already broke this one, messing it up, soldering it. I did use the pen, the silver pen instead of soldering on this one because I didn't want to break it. So this one is working great. As you can see, I have it up here, and I have got Emulation Station on it. So I put a bunch of low-end games on Game Boy Advance games, Game Boy Color. I got a lot of Sega games, just kind of show you. So I haven't downloaded the pictures yet, or like the box art, because I haven't hooked this up to the internet. I have to bring it upstairs. I'm currently downstairs. My wired. I tried to do wire Ethernet. It didn't work. I didn't think it would. So I'll just hook it up to my Ethernet. But you can basically play Sega Genesis games or other stuff if you wanted to. And then so I have all the basic ROMs. And then I was telling them, I was like, man, how do I get the Xbox games to work? Because I wanted to do that as well. So I was like, man, I had to look into it. So I have basically kind of like a dual boot. So I have applications. So I'm gonna go here, applications. The cool thing about the Rocky 5 is I also have Unleash X on this, so you can actually do it through Unleash X, or you can actually do it through what's the DVD program, which is cool too. So you can do it either way. So I have the DVD to Xbox, and basically what I did is I built out the F drive with the Xbox ISOs on it as well, and that is a pain in the butt, especially if you're not going torrents, you're doing websites. It takes so long. So you can use, this is just one of the many ways to do it. So you can go to the game manager here. I'm kind of doing one hand when I record. And you can see what my hard drive looks like. So I have my F drive, my E drive, my F drive. So I have a 500 terabyte hard drive. I don't want to do that. I know there's no disk in there. I hit the wrong key. So I'm going to go to game manager. And then you'll see all the games I've installed. So I've installed Nightfire, Batman, Black, Blood Rain, Burnout Revenge, Dead or Alive, Dino Crisis 3. This is a Def Jam Fight for New York. I have to rename this, unfortunately. I have to hook up a keyboard to rename it. But most of the games named correctly. Evil Dead, Fable, FIFA Street, Fallout 2. A lot of really good games. I got all the Halos on here. I didn't want to dump the whole entire ROM set on this, just because I wanted to get games that are good. So I kind of got a collection of games I liked. And I did get a few sports games. I'm not a big sports guy. Need for Speed 2 Underground is such a good game. That's the Predator, Concrete Jungle. This is Chronicle Relay. See, Roller Coaster Tycoon. I love that game. Scarface. Stuff like that. It's called Slugfest Loaded, it's MLB Slugfest. It's just it names it kind of weird when you load it from there. And then Knights of the Old Republic, Tetris World, The Hobbit, The Punisher. So example, let's say you want to play one of these games. You just select it right there, and boom. I think it's so cool. I'm so happy that I got it working. Don't mind the TV. My TV is a little off, so this is what you're seeing. But I'm very happy with this 1.2 now that I have a 500 gig hard drive in it. I'm also running the much cheaper Amazon $10 ribbon. It does work for these Seagate hard drives. I'll go ahead and zoom in on my model so you guys can kind of see it. It's just a normal 500 gig hard drive. But it worked. It boots up a little slow on this drive. It actually boots up much better on the more expensive hard drive adapter. This is like it's a name brand. Everyone recommends these ones. These ones work great. Don't get me wrong. It's a great hard drive adapter. And I would actually recommend that one. That one's $20. This one's $10. And I originally had that one, and I was like, oh, I wonder if this one will work too. And I put this one in, and it worked. It just boots up a little slower. So, like I said, I'm pretty happy with everything now. It's just been such an ordeal of getting a working Xbox and the person telling me it works. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to, soft mod it right away. It's such a huge ordeal when you don't have the parts or the know-how. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'll link everything that I use to get to this step. So if you are getting a code 7, you're getting a code 16, those are usually like your DVD drive's not working or your hard drive's not working. This is also an 80-pin cable. I know I'm kind of rambling and talking, but I've literally spent weeks trying to get these things to work and going down rabbit holes and fixing stuff. So if you guys are interested in getting an Xbox, I'd recommend getting I think the 1.0 and the 1.2 are my two favorites so far, just because they're really easy to TSOP flash. That will allow you to use any size hard drive. You don't have to get like a special hard drive. But basically, that's what I did. So I go ahead and connected everything, put it back in, and I put the hard drive. You use a program called XFAT30, the beta version. That's another thing too, is they don't tell you have to use the beta version. The 2.0, it doesn't work, so you have to use the beta. It's just it's been like a lot of ordeal. You have to mount the drive, you have to move all the files in the correct location, you have to label everything. It's a really lot to it. But if you guys are interested in modding, I think it's probably a little easier than doing a 360. There's a little less soldering. But then you're also dealing with older parts. Another thing too on this video I want to point out, a lot of these things, they have problems with their clock capacitors. And I went ahead and took them out of both these boards. And I replaced the thermal piece on both. This is the GPU and the CPU. So these are going to hopefully last me for a while. If you notice my capacitors are not swollen. That's the main thing. You don't want swollen capacitors. This actually works. I messed up the pads. I'm probably going to have to sell this for parts, unfortunately. It's just I burned the pads doing an incorrect TSOP swap because I was having the same issue. I couldn't get a CD-ROM drive to boot. I couldn't get the hard drive to boot. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And I kept soldering more and more. You see see how there's like no solder in some of those areas? And underneath I burned some of the pads. You can see like burn marks. It was my first time. Like I said, it wasn't working anyways, and it just kind of goes to show you need a little bit of patience by doing this stuff. But like I said, I'm very happy with this right now. You can change the colors: orange, red, green, and basically you have a modded Xbox that plays a whole bunch of games. So I'm actually very excited now I got this working. So I'll go ahead and post all the files on and then the correct things to buy if you guys are interested in doing this yourself. I highly recommend if you have a working Xbox, you're lucky you can burn a CD and boot it up. That way you can do it. Soft modding, it's very easy if your machine works. Like if you're buying one and it boots up to the Xbox dashboard, you are leagues ahead of me. I literally had to do the hardest, I think the hardest way possible. The hardest one would be like a straight broken one that had to repair like all the caps and it didn't boot up at all. But I had a broken hard drive and a broken DVD drive. So I overcame both sets of errors to finally get it working. It was just such an ordeal. So I'm going to go ahead and post the links in the videos I used how to fix that. Because doing the Pico EEPROM is pretty difficult. One thing I do want to point out, so with the Pico, if you end up getting this, you can use any type of like board to do this. But if you do use a Pico, real fast, don't mind my feeties. I have it set here, and then you have 3 wires. You have a red, a blue, and a black for a ground. And you basically hook up this computer, and you run a program called THIS. And then the THIS will actually help you get the EEPROM off the Xbox. And the EEPROMs are stored in the default hard drives. You can actually get them that way. You don't have to do all this if your basically Xbox works. So, like I said, it's just so much easier if your Xbox works. It's going to make your life so much easier. So if you are like me and you like to struggle, I'll go ahead and leave all the links to the things you need to buy, the correct adapters you need, the IDE cables you need. And I'll actually link to the videos of the people, because I watch other people's videos. It's like 4 or 5 different people's videos to get it to work. I'm going to play some Punisher and enjoy my modified Xbox.